Good evening and welcome to the Huddy Hui, episode 32. We're actually out of the living room this evening and we're here at the Tawa Rugby Football Club, and of course we've got the trophy of the moment, the Jubilee Cup. Of course, Tawa winning that on the weekend against Marist St Pat's in a comprehensive final. And joining me as always is Adam Julian. And Adam, you were here on Saturday evening, and a special moment for this proud club that has won 3 Jubilee Cup titles in less than 10 years.
Absolutely, Brad. 3 Jubilee Cup successes since 2013. Prior to that, it was 2016 that Tawa had won the Jubilee Cup, ironically defeating Marist St Pat's by 24-20. This clubhouse was absolutely rocking on Saturday night. The clubhouse, built in 1973, and it's never been more sticky and bumptious than what it was on Saturday night.
And it was an impressive final. No one really probably saw this result coming. They thought it would be probably a close affair, possibly with Marist taking it out. But Tawa turned up and their defence was simply outstanding. And, of course, their halfback, Huddy Hui, scored a record amount of points at him.
Absolutely, 26 points for Huddy Hui. The previous record, ironically, was Chris Slade of Marist St Pat's. He kicked 7 penalties in 2009 when the Reds defeated Norse by 21-15 at the stadium. And the other irony about the Jubilee Cup final on Saturday was that Marist St Pat's suffered the largest defeat since 1998. And on that occasion, it was Tawa in the final, beaten 53-21 by Wes. Chris Boyd, a life member of Tawa, later mentor of the Hurricanes, when they won the Super Rugby title for the only time on the same day that Tawa won the Jubilee Cup in 2016. Now Northampton was the coach.
And our guest tonight is the Jim Brown Memorial winner, and he was quite shocked he won it, but having called that game last Saturday, I picked him to win the player of the final, and our guest is Hemi Fermanis here at the Tawa Rugby Club. Hemi, please come on and join us here on the table. Fantastic result for you in the weekend, but also when your name was announced at the aftermatch as being the Jim Brown Memorial Player of the Year, tell us about the feeling.
Yeah, it was a shock. I was actually standing next to Kim and I says, "Oh, here you go get your trophy." But and then he called out number 4, and so yeah, it was a surprise. Yeah, very proud moment.
In terms of the game, 36-7, a resounding scoreline. What were the areas within the MSP game that you targeted that you thought you had a real edge over them?
Well, we knew they had a solid forward pack, and we knew that they loved to drive around the middle of the field. So we backed ourselves with our second 5 in centre, and we displayed a very good defensive line on that effort.
You beat Tawa in the Swindale Shield. What lessons did you take from that game into the final?
MSP. I guess we just always backed our set piece as well. Our full pack was always the engine room of the team, but I don't know. We just.
It's still much of a blur for Hemi. It was a fantastic final that he played. Now, I saw you play Norse here several weeks ago in the Swindale Shield, and you were beaten, and you didn't play that day, but I have to say that your forward pack was bloody awful. So how did you turn around the forward effort from that day to win this prize here, the Jubilee Cup?
I think on that day we kind of just lacked the confidence. Tawa's always been a hard team to kind of come back from being down, and I guess we play much better when we've got momentum on our side and we score early, and I guess that was the case for MSP on the day.
So the defence in particular on Saturday was simply outstanding, and that's why you got the Player of the Award final. But also tell us about some of the influences in the team, some of the other guys that have been around for a while, including your locking partner.
Oh yes, Tito Ioane. He was he to be honest, he planned on retiring after his 100th, but after a few shoulder taps, we were able to bring him back in. But No, he's good. He's a solid player, and I guess there's a bit of nostalgia when he came back in the fullback. But yeah, we're not the tallest locks in the club, but yeah, he does a good job in putting the heart in there as well.
At what point on Saturday did you think you had Maris St. Pat's, that you were convinced you were going to win the game?
To be honest, it wasn't until the final whistle went and the ball went out. But I guess that's how it is when the moment's so big and something's on the line like the Jubilee Cup.
Was there a moment in the game where you felt that it really changed things positively for Tawa?
I guess a 21-0 lead at halftime was was convincing enough.
Hemi, you're a product of Mana College, and Mana College this year back in the Premier 1 side, winning 3 games in a row. Tell us about your years at Mana and how that's carried through to here at the club, but also tell us about your coaches, Stephen Solialo and Damien Rapira-Davies. They've been with the club for quite a number of years, particularly Stephen. He's, of course, won the Jim Brown medal as well. Tell us about the influences of your 2 coaches.
Yes, I was at Mana at 11, I think I finished, and I sort of leaned towards basketball in my college years, but having all the Soyalos and also Raps on the club were very monumental for this club, not just this year but in past years too. He's been there since I first joined the club in 15 it was, and humble man, both of them, and Trent, and having him on board was also very monumental in our success.
You're of a Mormon faith. You went on a mission which interrupted your rugby career. Tell us what role faith plays in your life and explain what happens on a Mormon mission.
So I was called to the Micronesian Islands, and I guess being called to serve on a mission is itself a leap of faith. You're going somewhere which is foreign to you. You have to learn a foreign language and also mingle with people you've never met. And it's, I guess, those 2 years they call those are the best 2 years, and it's evident that it's been the shaping of who I am today, and the morals I have and the standards I have are all because of what I learned and what I've gained through testimony and through that faith that there's more than this. But I'm grateful for despite 2 years being a big time, I'm still grateful for that time I had to sort of shape my life, and although I was out there serving others, you find that you're doing more service to yourself.
And what are some of those key lessons that you did learn on your missionary, and how do they translate to a life in rugby?
Well, definitely being a better parent. I've been in positions where I've had to sort of lead and teach as well, and that falling through on what I am as a parent and my children, and also on the team as well, being able to lead on the team.
Hemi, there's a number of young talent coming through the club as well, and we got to see some of that this season, in particular in the final. Tell us about some of the young talent coming through and what they offer for the coming years.
Our coach did outstanding, and they were so easily fitted into the team. Weston being one, he too being a member of the same religion, but such a you look at him and you say, oh, this is, skinny white boy, but he was really backed himself. He had hit hard, and he was definitely a key player in the Jubilee Cup final. But you got a lot of the boys out there that are just real young and looking good for the next few years.
You were explaining that you were joking with Kemera Hauiti Parapara before the presentation that he was going to win that beautiful Jim Brown plate. Could you believe it when he wasn't picked for the Lions?
I don't even go there, mate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to make any enemies, but yeah, such a talented player. You can't help but question why. Why the hell is he not in there? Yeah.
Now, I noticed on Saturday that Tawa didn't warm up at the Hut Rec. There seemed to be a congregation at the Bellevue, and there was a yarn going around on Saturday night that I want you to verify that the boys in the Bellevue, which is owned by Dave Banks, the chairman, had a shot of whiskey before the game. Is that true?
Not that I know of. Yeah.
So Jubilee Cup brings out many fantastic stories. Hemi, tell us about your off-season. What have you got plans in place? And do you have any representative matches coming up at all?
Yeah, so the Māori rugby club's just started too, and might have a few games there. But other than that, I look forward to spending time with my kids. My Saturday's back, and also doing a bit of diving. And yeah.
And tell us about the celebrations on Saturday. What was the most poignant moment for you winning this trophy for a second time?
We started training since Jan 12, and such a long season and so much time you sacrifice being away from your families. It just means so much to have it at the end of the season. And if you're lifting it up twice, 3 times, 4 times, it'll never get old. Good. Yeah, awesome experience.
Well, Hemi, it's been fantastic having you on the Huddy Hui tonight. Well done on a fantastic year for yourself and also for the Tawa Rugby Club. And we look forward to seeing you next year in 2022. Well, Adam, Hemi Fermanis, a real inspiration for the Tawa Club. The Tawa Club, 2013, 2016, and now 2021, 3 Jubilee Cup titles. Of course, the last 2 finals they've won have been against Marist St. Pat's, and of course there have been a number of players that were in the team this year that were involved in the previous 2 titles.
Well, that's right. Hemi mentioned the coach, Stephen Sotoialo. He was involved in the campaign, and there were a number of others too, including Kemera Hauiti Parapara. It takes great players to win the Jubilee Cup, and here we have the Jim Brown Memorial Plate. And I want to show the viewers what this trophy is and what it means to win it. On the back are engraved all the winners. If we can zoom in there, you can see the list of past champions, and you can see some of the magnificent personalities that are on this trophy. Tamati Ellison, the first winner of the Jim Brown Memorial Plate in 2004, 69 tests for the All Blacks. I remember interviewing him on the sideline at the stadium where Norse won the final, 20-18 against Pōneke. He had a university examination the next day. Ulva'a, the following year, Petone down by 20-6 against Norse, won the Jubilee Cup by point. Ulva'a kicked a sideline conversion that day to help the Villagers win the Jubilee Cup for the last time. And Ulva'a, of course, kicked on to coach Scots College. They won a national title in his tenure, and now he's the assistant coach at Wainui Amada. Lua Vailola, 2006, he was a halfback for North. He scored a brilliant try in the 2004 final, was even better in 2006 against Pōneke. He played for Samoa. Nick Risdon, now the head of rugby development at Hud Old Boys Marist. He beat Marist St. Pat's 18-10 in 2007, and then we fast forward down to Stephen Soialo in 2013. He scored the try on half-time, which was the difference in Tawa's 26-21 win against Ori. Stephen Bradshaw, the tallest man to win the Jim Brown Plate. He's 7 foot. When he hoisted it up high at the Hutt Marist Clubhouse, he put a hole in the roof. He's that big. Joe Hill, 2 tries when Old Boys University beat Marist St. Pat's in 2015. Their first ever win in 50 years of the Jubilee Cup. And then, of course, there was the classic Junior Tongia here at Tawa, 2 tries against MSP in 2016, and the most recent winner before Hemi is not actually on the trophy. The engraver's 2 years behind, but that was Dale Sabag, who played for North. So the Jim Brown Memorial Plate, a very special trophy. It needs a bit of a polish, but fantastic winner, Hemi Fermanis.
And the 2021 club season, Adam, has been quite an entertaining affair. We saw a completely new second round this year. What were your thoughts on the second round? Did it give a new meaning to not only just the Jubilee Cup, but the Hardham Cup, which sort of had been the poor cousin for a few years, the Hardham Cup division?
Well, the Andy Leslie Trophy disappeared, which was unfortunate. No second round winner per se. One of the things I enjoyed about the new format is that Tawa beat sides above them in the Swindale Shield. Every one of the four sides they beat finished above them in the Swindale Shield. So if you're good enough to get on a streak and gain momentum, then you can be rewarded with the Jubilee Cup. Conversely, though, the penalty for the 1 and 2 qualifiers was the week off, and I think that's a disadvantage when you're trying to build momentum. You lose pattern and shape and structure when you try and reconvene. Old Boys University significantly beaten in the first round by Huddy Hui Marist, and then Marist St Pat's perhaps underdone, not prepared for that incredible onslaught by Tawa.
That's right, the same with Huddy Hui Marist too. They also had the week off before they played Tawa in the semi-final, and we sort of saw a bit of a curtain raiser to what Tawa was going to pull out in the final last week. So Tawa having to play every week, showing how it's done. And of course the Hardham Cup, Adam, that was finally put on the number 1 at Club's Finals Day, and that also went down to extra time with Porneki stealing it at the end.
A wonderful resurgence by Porneki this season. They only won 4 games in the Swindale Shield. They had the hardest draw of any team in the competition. They started with Wellington, which was a straightforward success. They were actually at the top of the table after round 1. And then they ended a 4-week sequence where they played 3 semi-finalists from 2020 and Tawa in close to last place. Porneki then stumbled their way through the rest of the Swindale Shield, but they caught fire in the Hardham Cup, beat Wainuiomata in the semi-final, and they were superb against Petone on Saturday. That Petone side very strong with 2 New Zealand under-20 representatives, Riley Higgins, who was outstanding, and Peter Larkai. But it was Larkai's misjudgment at the end, running it off the back of the scrum, getting turned over, which allowed Porneki to score a try to make it 24-all. And then in extra time, Brad, they were supreme.
Oh, they were. Paikai Turia, fantastic with the boot. Greg Foy coming back on with his Joker-style haircut, inspirational. But Nalu Tafali was my player of the match in the Hardham Cup final. He's been playing for years, but he just looks young at heart, and he was one of the few players in the extra time that didn't go down with cramp.
Fantastic player, Nalu Tafali. And on the subject of haircuts, Paikai Turia looked like Dame Edna with that pink haircut. In fact, I think Resine should sponsor the Jubilee Cup finals, given some of the haircuts on Saturday. And some of the haircuts on display here at Tawa were even more outrageous.
Well, always great colour in our game. And of course, Adam, there are other finals as well, but the under-85 competition is still going, well, because they moved to the national competition now. And we've got a few national under-85 games on this weekend. Tell us about those, because you're going to go along to one of them.
I'm headed to Kilburney Park to watch Petone play Porneki. Porneki had a team in Division 2 of the 85-kilo competition this year locally. Petone, no 85's team, but they've assembled some of their Premier and Colts players together for a crack at the national title. So that's one of the several games around the region this weekend. Marist St Pat's play Wellington. That should be a win to Marist St Pat's, given that Wellington were in the Division 2 final. Marist St Pat's were a Division 1 side. And then Eastbourne play Huddy Hui Marist in a replay of the centenary match at Eastbourne, which Eastbourne won comfortably by 47-3. But one of the great things about the 85-kilo competition nationally is that at the end of the local season, which means the clubs can stack their sides with some talent who would typically be in other grades that are of the right weightage. And significantly, the National Under-85 competition last year was won by Eden of Auckland, and Eden won the Gallagher Shield in Auckland this season, and they've got 3 brothers in their side called the Costas, and they're sensational, and all 3 of them played last year in the 85-kilo final, where Eden beat University 27-24 on Eden Park.
Eden Rugby Club, just like Tawa's had a fantastic year. Tawa, of course, we also have got to remember, won the Ed Cheney Cup too, Adam. So they won not only the Jubilee Cup, but the Ed Cheney Cup, the Senior One trophy as well. So a fantastic year for the Tawa Rugby Club. Adam, what was your game of the season to finish up club rugby this year?
Well, I think my favourite occasion this season was the centenary at Eastbourne. It was a venture into a new weight category, not talking literally here, and Eastbourne were such fantastic hosts, and they played brilliantly to beat Huddy Boys Marist that day. And I guess the other real standout game for me this season was when Huddy Boys Marist knocked over Old Boys University. Even though I wasn't there, I witnessed Brandon Lawson's kick on video, and that was such a surprise. University were flying towards yet another championship, but were denied in spectacular fashion by Huddy Boys Marist.
And Eastbourne would be up there with my favourite highlight of the year. That was just a fantastic weekend, and we're grateful to the Eastbourne Rugby Club for hosting us that Queen's Birthday weekend. It was a real occasion. Well, Adam, we're going to be back on tomorrow night, and we're having a bit of a change of focus because now club rugby's finished. But we've got Wellington Saint joining us tomorrow night on the Huddy Hui.
Wellington Saints are an absolute marvel in our city. Hemi Fermanis himself could have been one. He had a very promising basketball career at high school. The Saints won their 7th championship in 11 years. Recently, they beat Hawke's Bay 77-75, just down the road here in Porirua. And I guess tomorrow night is Kenneth Tuffin, one of the Wellington Saints, former head prefect of St. Pat Silverstream. He's been in the Philippines for an extended period playing basketball, returned for COVID, and played an NBL championship winning final in his home city. Kenneth Tuffin on the Hui tomorrow night.
And who'd forget that Randall Bishop also played basketball too for the Saints as well. So a real connection between rugby and basketball. But that is the Huddy Hui for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Many thanks to Dan Hicks, who's come along here to the Tawa Rugby Club to film the Hui tonight, and also to John Norris and Luke Thompson from Sideline.live, who have helped with the internet connection here while we're away from the Huddy studio. So I'm Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.